So I want to focus on the topic of developing an acquired appetite for selling. As Les Brown says, that you got to be hungry to achieve your ultimate success, and meaning you have to really dig in and go for it. You have to really have an appetite for it. Selling is the same way, and especially when we have several entrepreneurs who are really afraid to sell, or just don't feel like that's the main part, of their business. And like any business or operation, making a profit, of course, is one of the highest priorities of business, but certainly it's not the only reason why people are in business, because they want to make an impact, for sure, definitely an income, but it's not that they're always just focused on that aspect. So when it comes to the selling aspect with entrepreneurs, they have to have a healthy focus as it relates to selling. And also, too, they have to cultivate a certain type of appetite for that. So it's got to be an acquired taste for sure. But because it's a acquired taste, I should say, it does have to be a top priority. Otherwise, you're not going to be in business. So I've done several videos that have been empowering as it relates to being confident and competent in the selling agenda and really shifting how you see selling. So in this case, we're going to talk about developing an appetite and really being hungry. There are times you really have to be hungry, and you don't want to wait until you're actually hungry to the point where you're hangry, right? You want to be in control in the sense of how that appetite develops. So many are coming from the space already where they're hungry, all right, but they're hungry from the wrong vibrational vantage point. They're hangry. They're mad because they're not making the sales that they desire. They're frustrated with their business frameworks. But a great majority of the individuals that I witness who are hangry during these times are ones who are not really taking the action as it relates to selling and really taking the time out to learn how to sell effectively, and also too to just develop themselves as better entrepreneurs and brands. And so when people sit back and they're passive, that means they have not really developed the hunger, the right type of hunger, the healthy hunger that is required for being successful. But instead, they wait until they're in crisis mode, then they're hungry, but then they're hangry. And so when you are hangry, you are not going to get the results. And sometimes just hard times can put you in a place where you do dig in and you do start to do some things to get results. But that's really not how it's supposed to be, because you can be developing and cultivating this appetite and this love for selling in the most effective and aligned ways. So I want to talk about that, because this is unique for everyone. Because I know that there are a lot of formulas out there on the market, and you see a template to model, from several experts or gurus. And you try those things, and sometimes they just don't work for you. But there is a way to figure out, I should say, what's going to be right for you. And it really starts with getting present and knowing what's going to be best for you, because you actually do know that. Sometimes we think we don't know. But what it is that we lose our own way, and we lose our own voice and our own connection to the soul of our truth when we're looking out in the marketplace and seeing all these different options and then trying it, but actually not really starting with ourselves. Now, I'm going to say this. A lot of times it's just due to laziness, not really trying to discover what's unique for you, just trying to piecemeal and take from here and there different aspects and elements that you can use. But ultimately, you see that that's not working. Now, I'm not saying that there aren't certain components that will assist you, but let me make it clear when those components or elements will assist you. They will assist you when you have discovered the chief cornerstone of your selling factor that's unique for you. Then those other elements and components can be added as additional, enhancers to what you're going to do. So yes, you could potentially see some marketing copy out there that resonates with you and decide, okay, that's a template that I can leverage and show up in my own authenticity in that way, because maybe you didn't know how to articulate that. But that, again, will not happen until you've come to really your cornerstone position and understanding about what's going to be unique for you. So in developing this appetite, because it's cultivated, it's much like gardening. You have to take your time and nurture it, but it can be done in a very accelerated way. So start thinking, what are you hungry for at this point in terms of what do you crave in life? All right? What do you crave for your business? What do you most desire during this time for your audience and for yourself? What do you believe your audience is hungry for? What are they craving? What is their appetite like? So when you get in touch with those key important aspects, then you can start to craft a plan and a unique selling agenda. And it can be a signature selling agenda, okay? So in saying that is that you have to develop this deeper hunger. And if you don't like selling, forget it because it's not really going to work for you. However, let me just come back with this. If you don't like selling, here's where you can start to develop a relationship with selling and develop a hunger, a desire. You have to have hungry eyes so that when you have hungry eyes, you're able to pick up what it is that your audience most desires and also what you most desire, because getting to know what you most desire too is going to be extremely helpful, all right? Because there's a way to kind of marry the two. So being in the energy of having this cultivated hunger, where when you think about it, when you get hungry and at that first growl of something, that means, your first sense of your stomach growling, that means, oh, it's time to eat. What is it that I want? What is it that I desire? So go ahead and tend to that and start, even if you start munching on something until you can discover the next meal that you want to have that's going to be maybe a more complete course. But don't wait until you're just ravenous. And I think that that's what happens with most entrepreneurs, is that they wait till they're ravenous before they actually start really taking action. And it's hard to take action, from that place to get, results. But when you can develop a passion or a hunger for something, it just starts, and you start acting on that. And then you can feed yourself along the way. That's part of that nurturing and cultivating until you get to maybe that larger expanded desire. But again, not waiting until you've just gone on so long where you just, you have to have something at this point. That's being in the hangry stage. And you just don't want to be in the hangry stage. Frustration does not follow up with fortune. Maybe at one point that's how it worked. It's not how it works now. So yeah, frustration does not follow up with fortune. You have to find a way to make a shift. So being in control, in a sense, of cultivating and developing an acquired appetite, an acquired taste, a distinct taste for what you desire, and understanding what your core audience desires as well. That alone gets you excited to start on this new venture as it relates to your sales, right? So when you're more in a happy place and more in a positive place, it's easy for the flow of ideas and for you to be a conduit for cash flow, for impact and income. You'll be more intuitively aligned for success. So start thinking about the hunger that's going on with you right now. What are you craving? What are you hungered? What are you hungered for at this moment? What are you hungry for, I should say? Yeah. So start thinking about that, because sometimes it's really simple things like that, instead of getting so technical. And the next time you're actually hungry, be present with the hunger, because there could be a message in there. Now, don't wait till you get ravenous, because you wait till you get ravenous and then it's hard to think and really generate those higher level ideas. Because what happens is that you can get ideas, but a lot of times they'll come from a very lack-based vibration. And then you'll put that out there in the market. And then, yes, maybe you'll get something, but it's going to be something only temporary, nothing that's really building for long-lasting satisfaction. But when you develop this acquired appetite is a progression, and it gives to you, it yields to you these different levels of satisfaction for different levels of your appetite. And then ultimately you do have this overall kind of successful appetite agenda that you can rinse and repeat with newer passions. So that's just something that I wanted to talk about, is that you got to be hungry during these times. Hungry in the most healthy and aligned ways, not hungry going out there trying to scrape and scrap and do what you got to do and trying to hustle. This is not about a hustling hunger here, all right? A healthy hunger knows how to align with the timing, with the ideas, with when the audience is biting, and know their core desires. So that's something I just wanted to share with you during this time. I thought it was important to talk about this. So I'm here to assist you with that hunger. And if you need to learn how to cultivate that and develop some hungry eyes to know what you're witnessing and what you're seeing, then certainly I'm here for that. Have a playlist that you can avail yourself to also, so that you can learn more about effective selling and really how to make these sales adjustments during these times as we are shifting more into this new now business normal, so that you can be ultimately successful in all that you do, far beyond even the sales that you make. So I'll be back with more videos soon.